Hey everybody,
Hey there.
here we are. Patty mostly here. I'm just barely here. I think we may have mentioned it in a previous show, but the last 5 weeks has been tough on us with travel. I've been gone more than I've been here. And hey everybody, Tina, Edward, Old Ways, Amanda's, Mud Pie Girl 2, I like that. Trudy, Lisa, Orphan Lady, Bass Family, Lonely Prepper, Kitties, Teresa, William, McFadden. Everybody's just flowing in, and we're glad to have you here.
He's trying to get everybody's name called. It drives him crazy.
It drives me crazy that we can't service the chat acceptably, because you're all so kind to come here and spend your Sunday evenings with us and to comment and ask questions. And I just feel like I wish I was able to have one eyeball this way and one eyeball this way, kind of like Marty Feldman from Young Frankenstein, Igor.
I don't know who he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's older than me.
But it's been challenging. Of course, Patty's always up to the challenge. Stand up straighter. I don't know if you can see your shirt. I want everybody to be able to see your shirt.
You put the banner thing up there.
Yeah, I put the banner. Let me take the banner away so everybody can see it good. There it is. Life is too short for clean fingernails.
And mine are actually clean today. Woo! Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. 2 reasons I married her. She baited her own hooks, and she didn't mind getting dirt under her fingernails.
Mother of Many Horses says she wants to thank us for recommending Born Again Dirt. She's loving it.
Good.
That's great.
That's good.
Great.
I've started it over, reading it again simply because it's all fresh, in the context of the Redeeming the Dirt conference, and all the scripture references are fresh in my brain. And we'll talk more about that in upcoming episodes and upcoming videos. If you've noticed, we haven't had. We got to do a quick tip video this evening.
I think you already got one ready.
I don't think so.
I've got some ideas.
All right, we'll look and see.
But I want your ideas too. Send me some of your ideas. Excuse me, at quick tips at AldermanFarms.net.
Yeah, how about tips?
Okay, tips.
Tips at AldermanFarms.net.
Because all of us, when I'm doing stuff and everything, just like my dishwasher videos, a lot of people like that. And even, I'm worried about doing that because some people that, a lot of people don't have dishwashers, and I still wash things by hand too. But I can't remember who it was, but they made the comment that they actually do the same thing on their drying rack when they're when they wash your dishes. And if y'all missed the quick tip video, it was just on organizing your dishwasher, because it may take a little bit more time when you're loading your dishwasher, but when you go to put your dishes up, it's a lot easier to grab what goes together and put it up. But anyway, so I think I worried about that because some people not have a dishwasher, but I mean, it was really cool that some people that don't even have a dishwasher still do that as their hand washing. But anyway, I'd like to hear your tips. I just thought about it one day when I was doing the dishwasher, just to share that. And a lot of people said they already do it, and a lot of people said thanks for the tip. But I'm sure there's things you do in your house or in your kitchen that a lot of us hadn't thought about doing yet. So I'd love to be able to share your tips.
I got a kick out of Patty hates to get on the computer. I live on the computer because my full-time job has me on the computer, so it's easy for me just to check around on stuff like this. And so I don't know if she ever got on there to check the comments, but I got a kick out of 1 or 2 of the people who commented, said that's what they do when they go behind their husband and rearrange the dishwasher. And I thought, yeah, that happens.
Well, I can just get more in, baby. I appreciate your effort.
It's the old thing of, honey, will you load the dishwasher? Sure, I'll be happy to. And then you come in 30 minutes later and she's rearranging everything. And my point is, why don't you just load it in the first place? But
well, it is quicker for me, so with everything right there.
Yeah. So anyway, Mother of Many Horses, I'm glad you're enjoying the book. I know I got notice that a couple of people ordered from the Amazon link we posted, and we appreciate that. And I hope it rings your bell. And, don't just read the book. Dig into the scriptures in reference to, or that are referenced within the book. And, Patty and I are still just, I still can't get my head out of Colossians chapter 1. And so I'm constantly asking myself every day, does Christ have preeminence in everything? And when everything means everything, the all in the Greek means all. And so anyway, right now, as a result of all my traveling, probably, I'm not an old man. I'm 53 years old. Sometimes I feel older than 53. But the traveling and the sleep schedule, I used to work night shifts when I was in law enforcement, and it wasn't that big a deal. In fact, it was my favorite. I preferred night shift because when you work a night shift, when something happens, it was usually something.
Yeah, it wasn't petty stuff.
It wasn't petty stuff, or
yeah.
Escorts to the bank, or can you run down and pick up something for the secretary? And we loved our secretaries. I didn't mean that to sound like she ran us to death, but non-police.
Well, and not just non-police, but he looked at me crooked. Can you arrest him?
Yeah. Usually, but anyway, so we were at a customer site, and for those of you that don't know, I currently work for a public safety software developer. So we develop software for police departments and mostly police and sheriff's departments. And we were installing some dispatch software at a 911 center. And I like to, when we're doing that, when they're going live, I like to come and spend some time on the night shift with the dispatchers so they don't get felt left out. And I get to kind of be there and hold their hand as they adjust to a new CAD system or whatever. And boy, look, it was way past my bedtime. Even though I went home in the middle of the day or went to the hotel in the middle of the day and took a nap, it still threw me for a loop. So all of that is to say, I'm not 100% today. In fact, I feel like I'm less than 60%. So I've worked up a lot of energy over the last couple of hours, saved up a lot of energy over the last couple of hours just to have enough to be able to smile and kind of looked engaged. And in fact, I told Patty, I said, you may have to do the show by yourself. And I got to feeling guilty about that. She's done a great job when she's been here by herself. If you believe that, say so in the comments. I know y'all have been so encouraging to her when she's had to do it by herself. But on those occasions when she had to do it by herself, she knew she had to do it by herself.
For at least a week or longer.
For at least a week or longer to...
Not 3 hours.
Yeah. So I told her just a little while ago, I said, look, I'm going to sit in with you. I may not talk a lot. I'm getting all my talking out now. And she went running around the property, shooting a bunch of video and taking pictures. And I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, don't tell him me. I
might not show them all. I might not show them all, but plenty of little video clips and images. So I'm gonna stop talking like right about now, and I'm gonna turn my attention to the chat. And in fact, I may slip off a camera and just monitor the chat, and you may hear my voice bringing things up to her. I don't know if I'll do that or not, but. So with all of that, Patty, everybody say hey to Patty.
Well, I want to talk to y'all. And thanks for all the kind comments. I appreciate y'all.
Big Bear said they had a week like that too.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got a lot of videos, like Tommy's just talking about his traveling and everything. He just really hasn't been able to get the videos out there. I have been filming some things. I've told you already about the broccoli one, and I have some pictures of the broccoli update. It's really growing good. I have a few spaces with some of them, and I've been saying I've got to water, and I've yet to water it. So I've got to get out there and do that. We're in the middle of a drought. So when I show you these pictures, you're going to be like, oh my goodness. But, it's preventing us from being able to rotate our animals like we do. We use that electrified
poultry
netting, and it has the little spike things that you step in the ground. Well, we're on clay, and so it's hard as a rock right now.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, and so my laying hens are in their enclosed area. We haven't gotten the pigs out, and you're going to see that to the pasture, because we have to put hot wire around the bottom. Now we're going to be able to do that. We're dealing with Tommy being under the weather, so it's still real hot here. So you know,
and,
he's not.
And not having been here.
Yeah, not
so
been here.
We haven't had time to,
yeah.
we want to mulch those broccoli plants, put heavy mulch down to protect them, and hadn't, hope maybe we'll get to do that tomorrow.
But, well, and my first order of business is I'm going to go ahead and try and get the hot wire around the pasture, and if he can just go out there and fix up the hot wire, how it needs to be hooked together for me, which I guess I could figure that out too. But anyway, well, we can get our pigs out because they've been punished long enough, they've been trained long enough to the hot wire, so we're going to move them into a much larger area, and you're going to see that on the video too. But anyway, so we have, what is it? The broccoli video should be coming. Oh, I did another little short video. I found tomato plants. I was so excited.
Volunteer tomato plants.
Well, this past week while Tommy was gone working, of course, I was doing the chores, and our garden that's right by the barn, when the cow got into the tomatoes, we ended up having a lot that were ruined, and plus we had those worms, and so I just would chunk them right over the fence, and the pigs would just eat them, and the goats may have eaten some of them, I don't know. Typically they don't eat stuff like that, but anyway, I actually dug up 6 volunteer tomato plants. I have some pictures of them, and so I did a little video about that, about digging those up and getting my soil, and I put 3 in the garden and 3 in buckets in hopes that I can have tomatoes at Christmas.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll get one or both of those videos edited together and put up this week. Yeah. This
week should be a slower week for him as far as traveling, but then he's under the weather, so may not, be able to get to those. And it seemed like there was something else. I don't know. I don't remember anything else.
I don't know, but I need to comment on something, and you need to keep in mind this is your friend Jana's fault, not mine.
Oh, Jana. What did you do, Jana?
Bring this up.
Jana.
She says, Tommy, your Tigers beat my Golden Eagles. Well, we did. I'm very, very proud of that second half, and you should be very proud of the first half. We came out we were all kind of having flashbacks to the last few years because we just were very uninspired, and your Golden Eagles came out, and we helped them out with a couple of crucial penalties on that first drive, but as Coach Orgeron said, they came out and hit us in the mouth and went right down the field and scored. So we're in LSU country, we're all excited about Coach O. And I say all. There's a lot of people that are still no matter what happens for the rest of the year, they want to look at Tom Herman or Jimbo Fisher or somebody like that. And my thinking is, what a perfect story. And if you're interested in cool stories, even if you're not interested in football, look up Ed Orgeron and his pathway to becoming the interim head coach at LSU. It's really interesting. I mean, he's a Louisiana boy. He's got a voice like this, and he's got a good Cajun accent, doesn't he? He talks just like this all the time.
Yeah, that's how he talks.
And I feel like deja vu because I've told this so many times. I don't think I've told it on our YouTube channel though. My favorite thing that's happened so far, other than we've turned the season around in this brief time. But on his very first radio call-in show, some guy from, I don't know where, but somewhere down on the bayou where they talk like this, and he called in and he had some comments about questions maybe about LSU, and then he said, Coach O, I just want you to know that I'm so glad that for the first time in the history of LSU, we finally got us a head coach that don't got no accent.
That's good.
It was so funny. So I'm pulling for the guy. I'm hoping that he if he beats Alabama, if he makes it somehow miraculously through Ole Miss, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas A&M, I don't know how they can't give him the job. And if that's a tough row to hoe, and I'm pulling for him simply because a Cajun guy coaching our Tigers? Are you kidding me? I mean, that just ought to happen.
It fits, yeah.
It just fits. So, hey, Grandpa, glad to see you here, man. Hope you're feeling better. I think I understood you took a nasty spill, and obviously your fingers weren't incapacitated, so you couldn't be here typing. So I'm glad you're here.
Okay, let's see.
What do you want to show first?
I don't know. I forgot what all I filmed.
There's a shorter list of what you didn't film.
That's true. Well, there's really nothing I didn't film. Let's see. Where's the one in the garden that I filmed? What is that?
That's like the, I don't know. Here's some garden stuff.
Okay. Let's
So
see that.
Is that it?
Yeah, well,
There it is.
that's a.
You want me to put it over?
Yeah, you can put that over there. I just want to show y'all this. This is, you can't, it really blends in, but the green in the front, the foreground, that's a volunteer tomato plant. It actually has some blooms on it. So I saw that about 2 weeks ago. It was pretty big.
And that's not one of the ones you transplanted.
No, that's not one of the ones I transplanted. That's going to be on the video clip. I think this may be it right here.
That might be the same thing.
Yeah, it is. Maybe that's it then.
This one right here?
Yeah, that's it right there. This is actually my peppers. That little yellow pepper that was in there is called a Numex, something like that. Anyway, it's a habanero, and it's just huge. And this is some of my, I think, there's another one right there. It's a cute little pepper, and it's hot. It's not super hot, but you could just eat it. That's the green ones I'm showing. Anyway, and that's some kind of a bullnose pepper right there. I kind of went by it. That's some jalapenos. These are all peppers that I had to quickly dig up because tomato plants were on top of them when Honey the cow, there's my cayenne, jumped the fence and knocked the tomato plants down on top of my peppers. So I dug them up and stuck them in this bed, and I haven't staked them. That's some chili peppers right there. I haven't been able to stake them or anything. I need to get that done or try and pull them up. But that's the tomato plants right there that I transplanted that I found. And yeah, they need watering.
Probably water them this evening.
Yeah, well, probably in the morning. But this is some other peppers right here. This is called Santa Fe Grand, and they look like a jalapeno pepper. And they're beautiful though. You see that they're kind of turning orange and they're yellow. I put some yellow ones and they'll get bright red. And so I mix that with my regular jalapenos when I can jalapenos, and they really look pretty. And
We got peppers everywhere.
yeah, I'm very pleased with those peppers. There's the broccoli. It's growing great. This bed right there that I'm showing, it is just, they're all planted at the same time, but those plants are just really huge.
And did you explain to them? You probably did on the videos that I haven't edited yet, but why we have that broccoli?
Yeah, I talked about that on my show too when you were out of town.
Just remind the viewers how in case somebody wasn't here or didn't see that, why we have 3 bed of broccoli and why they look different.
Yeah, they're actually 3 different varieties, and it's actually I got those from Dr. Bill Evans, and he works at the Crystal Springs Experiment Station. It's a branch of Mississippi State, and so they're actually doing a just a trial to see how the peppers grow. And so he gave me all those pepper plants, and I can't remember how many I put in each bed. I should have just put about I think 30 in each bed, but I ended up with more than that. I think that was about 150 broccoli plants that I have out there. So, but anyway, I've been very pleased. But like I said, I think that one is called Gypsy, that is the tallest. But I talked to him over the weekend, and he said, well, we'll see how they produce. I was telling him how one is so much bigger than the rest of them. And I found that it's much more bug resistant too. Of course, these are not organic plants, but that I got from him. But I am raising them organically. But he said that's what we'll just see.
What do you mean they're not organic? They weren't.
Yeah, they're
germinated organically.
Right, and
because they're
not heirloom seeds or anything like that.
Okay,
probably.
because I know they do some organic stuff.
They do.
At
They
the
do.
experiment station.
Mm-hmm. They do. In fact, last year I think I got some from them, and I think they were organic. So, but they do different experiments, and so I'm glad to be part of it. I wanted to buy some broccoli plants. I would not have bought that many plants, but
didn't we get a bunch of tomatoes from him a couple? We were going to.
We got broccoli last year. I know that.
But we were supposed to do. No, it never worked out.
He was going to do a tomato trial.
We were going to do a tomato trial here. Yeah, he's been a great ally.
Yeah, great resource, and it's through. What is Rebecca?
The extension
through the extension
through
office.
the Mississippi State Extension Agency.
Yeah, that's how I met him, through the little classes that they offer. So if you haven't, this off season right now during the winter, it's a good time to contact your extension office, see what different things. I know during the winter that see what things they offer. I know during the winter is when our county agent will put on different classes and stuff like that. So, because people are not so busy, they can come. So, it would be a good time to get in touch with them, maybe even go by, meet your extension agent, and, just see what they offer. Because, it may be some things that would interest you, and maybe some educational stuff that you could get involved with. And
they've got lots to offer.
Yeah, they really do. And I mean, it's these people, the doctors and stuff like that come to our classes and talk to us. And
I'm certain that that's the case for every extension agency around the country. Some county somewhere may have a dud, but...
Well, and I know sometimes, like our neighboring county, Pike County, we actually have attended some things there.
Yeah.
We had some of those people that live there have attended things we have. So it's not like if it's not in your county, if you don't have a real active extension office, you could go to a neighboring county or parish.
And the first thing, the main thing you need to do is, if you haven't made contact with your extension office, you need to do that and get on whatever mailing list they offer, and you can find out about stuff. Now, be forewarned, not everything that they do is going to line up with the way you want to do things.
That's right.
It's, some of it's going to be geared toward, I hate to use the word traditional, typical big agriculture methods, modern, chemical and all that kind of stuff. But you'll find some gems in there.
That's
and
right.
It may be that, because we're finding this within our state, that I don't know if the tide is turning is the correct terminology, but they are becoming more amenable to folks who think like us, because our numbers are growing. Mm-hmm. And so they do offer resources.
That's right.
To help people to farm the way we want to farm.
That's right.
And it's a good resource, too good to ignore.
Mm-hmm. Teresa Dean says she loves horseradish. I didn't get a good picture of the horseradish. I do have it growing, and last year was the first year I planted it. I did not harvest any. I plan on harvesting some this year, and I tell you, I'm glad I had read. They say it puts out runners and everything, and I have outside of the garden where it's really clay soil. I planted it where we had some mulch and everything. And it's doing great there, but it's actually run out of the garden. I see it putting up little greenery down there. So.
Ginger Rose makes a good point. She says, as far as I'm concerned, it's more important how you grow the plants than where the seeds come from. You sort of make them organic, even if they're not heirloom. Mm-hmm. And that's true, especially, and my brain is not at full function, so I may stumble over this. You may have to bail me out. But especially for plants that don't propagate like corn, if you don't have, like how likely are broccoli plants to infect other plants with some kind of GMO?
Yeah. Well, as far as I know, there's not any GMO broccoli as of yet.
Well,
but that I know of. It's not real popular if it is. But for here, I would not grow any GMO corn because, I don't want that on my soil. Plus, it would infect,
So I don't know how to say that effectively.
Yeah, cross-pollinate is what you're talking about.
Cross-pollination, that's right. So for plants that don't cross-pollinate readily, you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter. And the product you can get from that seed grown organically or naturally, Mr. USDA, if you're listening, we're not claiming to be organic. We're using that as a descriptive term, not a term of labeling. Just naturally grown. That's a label too, isn't it? Man, gotta be so careful.
We just say better than organic.
Yeah, beyond organic.
Yeah.
I think that's what Salatin calls it.
Teresa Dean says, do you grow it by seed or by root? The horseradish, I grew it by root. And doggone it, I'm trying to think where I even ordered my root from. Probably Baker Creek is where I got it from, but I could be wrong.
I'm not sure.
Janice says she loves.
You didn't get that at the seed show at the fair, the Baker Creek Fair we went to, did you?
No.
And what did you get? You got some kind of turmeric or something like that? Some kind of root?
I actually bought turmeric at the Whole Food store.
Hey, Deep South.
I've got to find out, and somebody has told me before that you can actually use the horseradish leaves. But I don't know what you would use them for or how you would use them. So
it's a seahorse, Freaky Geek too. They're tiny.
What?
Just keep going.
They have their own conversations, and I don't know what they're talking about.
I want to know how you got a horse and a radish. Boom. How do you get a horse and a radish? It's so small. Horseradish.
Oh. I'm slow. So,
as you were.
But anyway, so when the horseradish dies down, from what I understand, when the leaves start dying down is when I'll dig the roots and everything. So.
How do you store it? Edward Turner wants to know, how do you store it? I assume Edward's talking about just the dug root.
Yeah, I'll probably store mine in the refrigerator to use. I'll have to look up some different ways to use it. I know one way that we like it is with, and I guess it might get grossed out, huh? Because we're from the South. Anyway, we eat raw oysters. And so you mix
by the 5-gallon bucket.
So,
not really, but I probably could.
Not that many. But anyway, you mix the horseradish with ketchup, and also I make I keep calling it a tonic. What is that stuff called that I made?
It's a tonic.
It's a tonic.
Yeah.
But anyway, for the winter, you steep it in apple cider vinegar, and you put some cayenne and onion and did I say garlic? And I actually put turmeric, and I steep that.
And horseradish.
And horseradish. Maybe a few other things, and that's what you need to take. I told you need to take some of that.
I need to take some. Burn this mess out of me.
That's right. But anyway, so that you can take it, when you're under the weather, or you just take a teaspoon or tablespoon a day, and it's really good. It'll kind of take your breath away. Of course, that apple cider vinegar, but then it's got that horseradish in
and
there
the first time you taste it, it like blows your head off. But
Yeah.
then it's a weird thing. You kind of like it, and I'm like, what if I put it in salad dressings?
Yeah,
Or actually put some of it in a salad dressing to give it a little kick. But by the way, Deep South, we have not forgotten the horseradish. We just haven't dug it yet.
Yeah.
So we'll be in touch about that.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a visit. We'll come bearing gifts.
Yeah, that's right. Because we still haven't had our rite of passage. I think all new members of the Homestead Network community have to go to Danny and Wanda's a Deep South Homestead, and we haven't done that yet.
That's right.
Being in the same state, there's kind of no excuse for that.
Jay asked, when do you plant horseradish? And I believe I planted it in the spring. So, yeah, I know I did. I planted it last spring. And I just can't for the life of me think about where I got the root from. But I really think it was probably Baker Creek that I got it from. I order most of my stuff there.
Or Johnny's. We order some stuff from Johnny's, don't we? Or we just look at it and end up going to Baker Creek.
I order some of my tools there, and they do have a few organic seeds.
Johnny's Select Seeds, yeah.
But I really think it was Baker Creek. But anyway, I want to give an update on the chickens, the meat chickens.
Is that these? Y'all bear with us for a minute.
No, not that one.
Not that one.
Here, there it is right there, that one.
This one.
With this is going to have our
the Bielefelders.
Yeah, we've got our Bielefelders. That little white fence is separating them out of the garden. And that's the Bielefelder rooster. And we are so pleased. That's our favorite chicken. Now, this one right here looks like a Bielefelder, but that's not. That's one of our Freedom Rangers. I want to point and show y'all, but I know you can't see me point. All this is the meat chickens that are the Freedom Rangers that we're growing out. Right there, and they've gotten some good size. I think they're going to be ready in a couple of weeks. Been very pleased with them. They've been very healthy birds. They've done really good. They're still in my what we call the barn garden. That's a hen right there that I'm coming close to, Bielefelder hen. But if you can see past the fence out there, the dirt area, it just went off. But we usually take the white net fencing and we loop it, we keep them all coming to roost in that stall, and we'll loop that out where they have another area to go eat in, where you can see it is just hard clay out there, and we can't put our fence in the ground because of the spikes. We cannot get, I guess if I took a hammer out there, I might can hammer it in, or either bend the spikes.
Quick, everybody, tell us your best bandana grandma jokes. She's gone to pop popcorn, so she's not listening.
What?
No, I'm kidding. She said, "I'm going to pop popcorn. Don't talk about me while I'm gone."
Anyway,
Hey, before you move on about the chickens, or did I interrupt you? Were you finished with that thought?
Well, I was just going to say, you know, I'm glad that the garden still has some green in there. They get around out there and scratch and everything, but ideally we wanted to be able to move their area around.
Yeah, but there's nothing.
You know, there would be nothing.
Here,
if we could get the spikes in the ground,
yeah,
there's nothing out there.
Here,
anyway.
Enjoy this dirt today. Tomorrow we'll give you some new dirt.
Yeah. But anyway, the Bielefelders are laying, and so as soon as did you get any eggs yesterday from them? I've been getting like one a day while you're gone.
But it was either yesterday or the day before I got one.
They lay better for me when I get eggs.
What I was going to say though, in fact, let me put that back up there. Patty made mention when we were looking at this little clip of the Bielefelders. That's the Bielefelder in the foreground. That is not.
I think they're crossed with Bielefelder or something.
But you see how similar they look. And so a couple of weeks ago, you know, Patty mentioned, man, these chickens are going to be pretty close in size when we get ready to slaughter them. I hope we don't slaughter our Bielefelders. We need to move them.
Yeah, I was wanting to get the Bielefelders out.
So we were going to build a new structure, and that would have been fine. But remember at the very beginning of our show, I told you about my nightmare schedule for the last 5 weeks? And it just became obvious that there just was no way we weren't going to be able to do it. Oh my goodness, what do you do? So we abandoned them. Mm-hmm. That's all we did. In fact, I could have done something more Homestead-like and used bread wrappers or twist ties or something like that. But I was in the feed store anyway and just happened to look and found some little plastic, flexible little spiral bands to go around their legs. And they were multicolored, and so, I did the good husband thing and put the pink one on the hens and the blue ones on the boys. And and they can't come off. They're a complete circle, and they kind of spring open and go around. I tell you what they work like. They kind of work like a key ring. You know that aggravating key ring, and you got to try to get that thing pried apart and get that key in there.
Oh, is that bad?
That's the way they work, but it's not that hard.
Oh, okay.
It's the way they work, and I could do it. I would grab. I waited till they were roosting that night, and could go just lift one up easily, and I was able to do it with one hand. I was able to get it on their legs, just holding their leg in one hand and do it on the other. So it's not like they're hard, but that's the way the design works. So it's impossible for them to come off.
Oh, good. Well, I tell you, I like having that on there though because
they are, Teresa. Those are some mighty fine looking chickens. We're pleased.
Yeah, that's our favorite. But I can keep track of that's my original stock, of birds and everything. So I'm glad I'll be able to keep track of them. But let's see. Grandpa said that he makes horseradish sauce with mayonnaise. That's great on roast beef. Yeah, I'm interested in being able to try some different stuff. I'm not one that makes a lot of different things, but I would like to. I'd like to try.
Danny or Wanda, I'll just say Deep South. Did y'all get teased with the rain? What was that, yesterday, like we did?
It did this morning too. You didn't know it this morning, just barely.
On the way we went to the fall, and Patty will show you at least one picture, I guess I will, of the Fall Flower Garden Festival up at the Crystal Springs Crop Experiment Station where Dr. Evans works. And it was hot as blue blazes, but there was a wind blowing. And on our way home, we saw some dark clouds, and doggone if it didn't actually sprinkle for about 5 minutes.
I was like, woo, yeah.
And then when we got to the point where we turned west, heading toward our place, I mean, the whole area in the distance, which would have been like over us, was dark clouds. And we were like, could it be? Lord, let it be, let it be. But it wasn't to be. And so we've got dust in places that's 2 inches thick.
Yeah,
just
bad.
Dust 2 inches thick. And so I think we're, I don't know about what they're saying down around Wiggins, Deep South, but I think Patty said last time she looked anyway, that we may have like 60% sometime
next
week. So we'll see. I hope that happens.
Yeah. I took some pictures of the turkeys too, and the Delaware. Delaware roosters are getting good size. Oh, by the way, I did figure it out on the calendar the other day, and those Bielefelders are 7 months old, and so the Delaware you're fixing to see is
right here.
Yeah, they're 6 months old, and that's how old the turkeys are too. We're going to be slaughtering a few of the Bielefelder roosters, a few of the Delaware roosters, and a few of the midget white toms. I think I counted this morning. I thought I only had 3 hens, but it's looking like I may have 4 hens and 4 toms. So I'm excited. I hope I do have 4 hens. So
I thought you had some other footage of them too. But
I do.
Maybe
There's
not.
another one.
There must be this one right here.
Yeah. Yeah. Right there. I went out there and called them to me, and they came running. They thought I tricked them. They thought I was going to give them something to eat. I didn't know.
That's pretty cruel.
Well, I threw leaves in the air. They needed to come get in the shade. But anyway.
They're nuts for scratch. Any
Yeah.
kind of scratch grains you throw out there. Look how pitiful that looks.
I tried to make them gobble where y'all could see them do that, but they wouldn't gobble for me. But you see the dirt, the ground out there. It's just terrible.
And the good news is
And this is a very large area that they have.
the good news is there's dormant
You can see
seeds in there.
You can see the little house way back there. I'm
Yeah.
pointing.
Did y'all see Patty point? She
Yeah.
pointed it out to you.
Yeah, that's so they have. That's what we used to call. That's what we call the big garden, and so they have lots of area out there. We did have the pigs out there for a little while.
I think it's better if we call it the big garden area rather than the big garden.
That's true.
The artist formerly known as the big garden.
Yeah, well, we need to call it the chicken yard now. The big chicken yard.
The big chicken yard.
I don't know if we're going to be planting anything out there or not.
Hey, Jared.
Grandpa asked why did we do midget whites instead of giant whites. Well, I'm not sure if the giant whites breed naturally. Even if they do, I wanted something that was more manageable size. The toms are supposed to be like 15 pounds, 20 pounds when they're ready to slaughter. The hens are supposed to be about 10 pounds. So that's why I went with the midget whites, and I just thought it would be something more simple. I would like it. They're pretty.
Patty don't like big critters.
They're pretty, and but I do like color. Like the Delaware. I think they're pretty. I like with the black barring they have on them and everything. But I prefer like the look of the Bielefelder. I love the different colors on them and everything. But I chose the midget white, and midget white is a heritage breed. I wanted to do a heritage breed.
I'm really hopeful that we mentioned a few weeks ago before we got any eggs from the Bielefelders. And we've only got 2 Bielefelder hens, and so I can't be too hard on them. But we said before they've been described as the uber chicken,
Yeah.
which a lot of breed developers or breed aficionados are proud of their favorite breeds. So lots of people may say that, but they've been described as if you can only have one chicken, this is the one. And everything we saw and experienced up to the point where before they were laying, we were convinced. Loved their temperament, loved their size, loved their color, everything. Mm-hmm. And so you may remember us saying the only remaining test as to whether they're the perfect chicken for us is how well they lay.
Yeah.
And so it's been now a week or 2 where we're getting
2, I think.
Maybe 2 weeks where we're getting an egg a day or an egg every other day. I may have just talked myself out of that by reminding myself I've only got 2 hens, so they're knocking it out of the park.
Well, they're not laying, but they're both not laying, but they're just starting to lay. So they're not. We're getting an egg a day. I
don't know what. Remember, folks, I'm under the weather. My brain's not working properly, and I just caught myself in the middle of that thinking, "What do you expect, Tommy? 4 eggs a day? You got 2 hens."
But we have gotten 2 eggs in one day. You did. And for a few days, we've gotten 2 eggs. So I'm not going to be real hard on them right now. It's fine, what they're doing.
Are the eggs getting bigger yet?
Well, that's the thing. You can't tell them apart from already. You cannot tell them apart from my black Australorp and my Rhode Island red eggs. And so they're already that size. They're supposed to lay a jumbo egg their 2nd year. So I'm excited about that.
Grandpa, how old is that rascal? Grandpa says, back to your midget, why you use the midget whites, he said, I get that. My big Tom's pushing 40 pounds.
Well, those those bourbon turkeys we sold, they were pretty heavy.
Yeah, they're pretty heavy. We didn't weigh them.
I don't think they were 40 pounds by any means.
No.
But they were
Is that a giant white you're talking about, Grandpa? So we'll give him a chance to catch up with us.
Yeah. Let's see.
You might have to use your elk 2x4 to take that sucker out, Grandpa.
I also
moose 2x4. Sorry.
I also took some pictures of the pigs, the punished pigs, or the pigs in training. They've been punished long enough, so they're still being trained. And this is them. We still have about 50 of these pigs.
This is them in their grass lot.
Yeah, their grass lot, yeah. So that's why I was talking about we needed to get them moved out to the pasture. And I think I pan around, I do. This is what we call the pasture, and you see it is still pretty barren. There is stuff growing out there. You're looking past the big, what we call the big garden where the Delaware is. And they'll actually be able to go on the other side of that also. Sorry, I thought I filmed slow where I would have time to talk about all this. But anyway. Yeah.
No, it's not the same.
It's not the same?
Is it?
I don't know.
I think so.
But anyway, anyway, that's our next order of business that we have on the agenda next week that we have to get taken care of. These pigs have to be moved out of this area. So
yeah, and all we're missing is a new strand of hot wire around the bottom of the fence. These pigs were basically punished. They were sent to their room, so to speak. The hog house that and all these suckers can get up in it just about is up in this area. They got a nice big wallow, and they normally have access to it. Oops, sorry. I thought I had pushed us back to the screen. My bad. But we may have. It's like the third time I said we may have mentioned this before. I can't remember anything anyway, even on a good day. But animals have a communication network, and they wait for me to leave town. They wait for me to get just far enough where I'm too far to come back, and that's when they start getting out. When Patty's left here to deal with it, and so at the start of this traveling stretch that we really didn't know was going to be that long, some of the travel plans got added to it in the middle of it. But we said, no, we're just gonna pin them up. We'll just feed them extra and keep them pinned up. They got fresh water, access to a nice big hole, and all we got to do is run hot wire around the bottom of the pasture area, and they're gonna think they're in heaven, not just because of the little bit of vegetation's out there, but there are 3 or 4 oak trees.
Yeah.
And there are acorns all over the ground. And how far would you think those oak trees are from our back porch?
Oh, I don't know.
100 yards?
Oh, at least, yeah.
Maybe 200 yards?
Yeah.
I'm terrible at that. Let's say between 100 and 200 yards away. And I'll never forget the very first pigs we had at this time of year when acorns were all over the ground. You could be on the back porch and hear them eating acorns out there when everything else was quiet. We may not have that now because we've got so many other critters. We may not have the chance to hear that. And it wasn't like real loud, but you could hear this crunching, and they were smacking on those acorns. So they'll be tickled to death when hopefully tomorrow they'll be, because it won't take but an hour to finish it.
Yeah, it won't take long. So we're going to get on that. I think Donna was talking about the pigs, said that she would be scared of them. They're really, I'm really not scared of them. I go out there by myself when Tommy's gone. I had to go out there and, work on different stuff after I got them trapped in there. And they're not vicious at all, even when you fool with their babies or not. And that's one thing we love about the breed. And we're going to... and somebody, I think it was Teresa. Teresa
what do you
said,
do with all of them?
Well, we were hoping to sell a lot of them to chefs and
That's
stuff.
a great question. If you find an answer, let me know. Don't ask Jared because he don't know.
Anyway, we've put a lot of them in the freezer. We're trying to sell them. We're trying to sell some off. I do have a video on some of the ones we're keeping. We're actually changing our bloodline up a little bit. Because we love the meat. To us, any pork we've ever had, it's just not, it's unmatched.
It's unmatched.
So it is very, very good meat. So we do plan on keeping them. We will continue to sell to the public. We do pastured pork. We just don't, these are slow growing pigs. And so Tommy and I's kind of revamped our idea of our farm, and what we're wanting to do is worry about feeding us, feeding our family, and selling our extra. This is too much extra. We have way too much extra, and so we need to, we've been able to be blessing people. I call it blessing people because we've been selling them rather cheap.
Very.
And, you know, the people in the guinea hog world would probably be mad at us, but we're in a bind and we need to get rid of our pigs. And so we've had somebody from down by Lafayette. I can't remember where they're from.
Yeah, down right. I don't know if she's on
Cheryl,
here. Cheryl Dugas.
Yeah, they
I
came.
don't know if Cheryl's in. She was in. Cheryl, if you're in there, speak up. She was in last week, I believe.
Yeah, she was here last week, and she's watched us before. She actually had watched the show when I mentioned that we need to get rid of pigs. And anyway, my daughter fusses at me when I say get rid of stuff because she says it sounds like you're going to kill them. But anyway, we need to sell pigs.
Well, some of them we might.
Yeah. But anyway, and then we had a couple, and their kids came Friday evening, and they bought 4. Cheryl and her husband bought 3. And so, anyway, if anybody needs any pigs, email us.
How many can I put you down for, Jared?
Quit being mean to Jared. But anyway, let's show we call them Big Mama and Big Daddy.
Yeah, let me find them right here somewhere.
It's the pigs. They're
right
actually
here
in a different area. They didn't get punished because they stayed where they were supposed to be.
This is just a short little loop. I may let it loop a couple of times just to talk about them. But is that just Big Mama and Big Daddy? Or is that
No, Polly's not in there.
Just a little word about these. We paid good money for these. They came out of a herd in about 2 hours from here, just outside of Laurel, Mississippi. A gentleman his grandfather had started raising guinea hogs, 60-something years ago, and followed all the breeding protocols and did everything the right way, but he wasn't a part of the American Guinea Hog Association, so these hogs were never registered. And make a long story short, the grandson came down with a terminal illness. And so I may have this wrong. It may be the son that came down with the terminal illness who is the old gentleman now, or was. Sadly, he passed away. And the grandson was not in a position to continue to maintain the herd, so they sold them off. And we were excited to get them because, and if you can look at their noses, they're shorter, their bodies are shorter, they're rounder. This is what an American guinea hog is supposed to look like. Now, are the ones we showed you a moment ago, are they American guinea hogs? They are. There are a couple of strains in the guinea hog registry, and some of them have a little bit longer snout, a little bit narrower build, and so they are fully guinea hogs. But these are the types, and if you just look at, I wish I'd have thought to tell you, Patty, to get a good shot of their behind, because their rumps are just so much rounder and fuller. And we also notice that while they don't grow, you can't by any stretch of the imagination say that they grow fast.
No.
They do grow faster.
Yeah, faster.
The strain that we have had for these few years, our rule of thumb is that it takes approximately a year to get one to anywhere from 110 to 125 pounds or so. And I'm guessing that these probably, within 7 or 8 months might be 100 to 110 or something like that.
Yeah. At a year old, they were well over 100 pounds.
I did it again. I'm sorry. I thought I had put us back on the screen 2 minutes ago and hadn't done it yet.
Now, Teresa is asking, how many do we butcher a fall?
Well, Teresa, if you're talking about us personally, I mean, we haven't set a number. I can tell you that whatever that number would be, it's going up.
Well, because we just had so many, we actually butchered 6. A friend of ours came
here on the farm.
Yeah, on the farm, and we butchered them together.
Like 25 to 40 pounders.
Yeah, and so
we butchered 6 in one set.
Tell me.
Gosh, we're almost out of time.
Uh-oh.
That's crazy.
Big Family's coming on. We just got a reminder. Big Family's on in 10 minutes. So.
All right, so stop right there.
Yep, go ahead.
Don't forget, in 10 minutes, to move over. I'm sure the mods will put the link in the chat for you to hop over to Big Family Homestead. And I always forget to check the lineup, but in case nothing has changed, Big Family Homestead follows us on the Homestead Network. Then Tommy and probably the Off-Grid Kid over at the Off-Grid Nation, followed by Jared Stanley and the Stanley Bunch at J&J Acres. Mm-hmm. So don't forget to do that. Now, I've completely forgot what we were saying.
Well, I was going to say that we have 3 that are at the slaughterhouse now. Being processed for our packaged pork. Yeah, that we actually sell to the public. It went really good last time. In the spring, we had 2 butchered, and we sold out pretty quick. And so we'll have these 3 that we're having butchered.
And we also sold one to Andy, a local chef friend of mine, but it was for his personal use and experimentation. So I didn't have to take it all the way to Kosciuszko, 2.5, 3 hours away from here. I was able to take it to a local processor, and then Andy got with the local processor, and they paid for it to just be dispatched and butterflied.
Yeah.
You know, so.
One thing that we're gonna we have a little local thing. It's called D&D Trade Day. We're planning on bringing some of the pigs there to sell some. That'll be at the end of the month. They have it once a month. It's usually the second Saturday of the month, but when there's 5 Saturdays, they have one the second Saturday and the last Saturday. So we're going to be doing that, and I think Teresa asked. Everybody's probably gone over to Big Family, so that's okay.
All right, sorry about that, guys. Let's see if anybody's still with us. We're back if you're still with us. Somebody let us know. We're streaming again. Okay. Hello. Somebody let us know. The internet is back. I can't even because I'm not logged in. No, don't stop.
No, I know. I was going to change it back.
Okay.
That's okay.
See, I lost.
I don't know. Mine's twirling around, so I don't know.
All right, we're desperately, just in case anybody can hear us, our internet crashed, which rarely happens, but it did. Internet's back, but I can't. I'm having to reboot everything, redo all the links. There we go. Okay. We are back. Internet crashed. Okay. So, hang on a second. Let's.
Can they hear us or not?
They should be able to hear us now.
Okay.
They probably did not hear. There's Spree. She's our oldest. She's our Oberhasli doe. Let me start that over just right quick, and we realize we're almost out of time, but Patty wanted you to see these. I'm going to let this loop, and she can keep talking about them.
These are just 3 of our does that are dairy. We've actually have a Nubian buck with him right now. That's him right there. We're going to be getting a Kiko buck. This is a part Oberhasli. And then she's part Oberhasli also. Anyway, and that's Spree, our oldest doe. So all of these are grands and great grands to her, except for the buck, of course. Anyway, so I just wanted to show y'all our goats. I don't think we've ever had the goats up. We have a total of 13 goats right now. The rest of them were out eating. So, and Tommy, there was another picture you want to show them. I want to show them Henry.
I want to show them Henry right quick before we run out of time.
That's Henry.
That's old Henry.
That's our calf. We're raising him for meat. And then
he was given to us as payment for doing some YouTube work, actually.
Yeah. And then this is the fall festival that we went to. And if you look close, my little grandson's up in there.
He's posing behind the upside down scarecrow guy.
And y'all, I'm going to tell you, he had a really good time. And I was just really amazed. You know, he said
He really
he's
did.
almost 5, and he's been around gardening all of his life and around the animals and everything. And you know, he walked up and down, looking at all the different vegetables with us, and he was interested. He enjoyed the pumpkins, the watermelons. So, you know, I just want to encourage you to teach the kids. I mean, let the kids be involved with you, even if they're not your own kids. Even if they're friends' kids, because kids need to learn and know. And I was just really shocked at what a good time he had. I thought he might be bored, but he had a great time.
You know, the Bible says, raise up your kids in the way they should go. When they're old, they won't depart from it. And if you study the background of the Greek in that, it has to do with finding their bent and encouraging them in that way. What are they bent toward? And Tomas told us he's almost 5, and he told us today.
I haven't told Chelsea and Guillermo.
Oh, I hope they're watching this. Tell them what he said. Hurry.
He said, Money, and that's what he calls me, Money. He made up that name for me. He said, when I grow up and get a wife, I want to live at the farm.
Yes.
Yay! I said, oh, you can live at the farm, baby.
Papa's doing a happy dance, so I'm out with a tape measure, measuring off a place, you know. But yeah. Hey, guys, we're just about out of time. I want to make sure you've got time to hop over to Big Family Homestead. Tell them we sent you. And I'm going to leave you with Romans chapter 10, verse 31, which says, so whether you eat or drink, now listen to this, or whatever you do, try to think of something that does not fall into or whatever you do. Grocery shopping, whatever. So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. He's worthy of it. And so that's my challenge to you this week, is to live for the glory of God. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.
God bless.